Okay, we're back here at Psyko. Everything's testing great. So we're going to talk to, James. James, we're going to talk to James, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what Psyko is about and why they're here in Alberta.
Right on. Why we're doing headphones is because we got frustrated with normal headphones. Especially, the idea actually came from a friend of mine who had a really nice home surround sound system set up to play games, but he had two little kids and a wife that didn't want to hear shooting at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, and you know, your only option is headphones. But you put headphones on and you lose the directionality. So you hear gunshot with headphones, but it only plays it either in your right ear or your left ear, and you can't tell where that came from. So he posed the problem, and I've got a degree in engineering and acoustics, and I looked at the problem and I thought, there's something really interesting here. It's an interesting problem. I think I can bring a solution to it. So I worked and came up with a totally different way of building headphones. And that's our solution here that we're proposing or coming up with.
Right. So you say you have a totally different solution for building headphones. Tell us what is totally different about it.
Well, okay. What's normal is one speaker here, and you know, there are surround sound headphones out there, and they put multiple speakers around one ear or multiple speakers around the other ear. The problem with that is there's a gunshot on your right, it still only plays in your right ear. And that's not a normal experience. When you hear any sound, you hear it with both ears. It hits one ear a little bit before the other, and that tells you exactly what angle it is off center. And the way it flows past your ear tells you whether it's flowing from the front or if it's coming from behind you. The way your ear blocks it creates a signal to your ear canal to tell you whether it's front or back. One of the challenges for normal headphones is everyone's ears are different shape, so that signal is unique to each person. And there are DSP methods that try to mimic that system, but they can't. They're selling one system for all people. It's like selling one pair of prescription glasses for everyone in the world. It just doesn't fit. So our third approach, our very different approach, is still putting speakers by your ears. So what we do is we take a room which would have 3 speakers in front of you, the center, the left and right fronts, and your rear left and right, and put them up on top of the headphone. Then we channel the sound from each of these speakers down through these waveguides down to both ears. So when there's a gunshot in your front right, for example, all we do is take the same signal that would normally go to the speaker in the room at the right front, bring it to this speaker, and it emanates out from here, so it hits this ear a little bit before that ear. This distance is engineered so that it reproduces what happens at a 45-degree angle in a room system.
Okay.
So it hits this ear half a millisecond before it hits that ear. It's a little louder in this ear because it's closer to the speaker. Mm-hmm. And the way the sound comes out of the headphones comes out of these ports. So there's rear ports and front ports. Right. So now every sound has the right timing and volume difference, and it flows from the front of both ears. So we're reproducing a sound field in this ear cup, which is exactly what happens in a room. Now, one more thing is, that's nice for the front sounds. The rear sounds, the rear sounds are connected to these rear speakers. They are connected to that rear tube, so now the sounds flow past the back of your ear. So the rear sounds go out, flow past both back ears. Front sounds go to both ears and flow past both ears. Again, with the right timing difference and the right direction. And, you know, what everyone says is they just sound natural. Every sound you hear just sounds like it would be in the room around you.
Right, that's quite a bit different than standard, I guess. I don't even know what you'd term standard speakers. Right. They just, you know, they don't work with sound flow. Probably, I guess, the headphones that I've seen that have the most separation, and probably one of the earliest surround headphones would be the Zellman headset. I think those are the ZM 6 RF or something like that.
Right.
And would those have a closer? Would those work better than other ones from other companies, or are they still same limitations?
Okay, there's stereo headphones, and you know there's no directionality at all with them. And again, right sound only played in the right ear, left only in the left. So the Zellmans, they put multiple speakers around the right ear, multiple around the left. But again, it's not. It's the right sound is only played in your right ear, not in both ears the way it's supposed to be. And that effect alone, actually, our name Psycho comes from psychoacoustics, and that's a body of science. In that body of science, the research shows that if you play a sound in one ear only, your brain actually filters some of that sound out. And in tests, you have to increase that sound by 6 decibels before you can perceive it. So if you play the sound with the right directionality, you're actually hearing 6 decibels better than you would with normal headphones that are playing it in one ear or the other ear. So there's a lot of people that use our headphones actually say they hear more sounds, not because it's louder, but because their brain is not trying to filter these unnatural sounds. We've got guys, playing shooter games, and I'll be like, I was surprised the first couple of times I heard this. They take the headphones off and they say, I heard a bird chirping in a tree that I've never heard before. Right. And to me it was like, I'm really focused on game performance, kill ratio, and all these things. Yeah, it's nice to be able to hear the birds, and what it's telling you though is that they're actually hearing many, many more layers in the sound in the game. And the benefit of that is you're getting more out of the game. You're actually experiencing more. Instead of just hearing the gunshots, you're actually getting more into the environment. Right. It also means you hear boots shuffling in the gravel, or all the subtle sounds that you might not hear with other headphones. Right.
I noticed when I played Battlefield, I think it was Battlefield 2, and I upgraded to a much better set of headphones and a sound card. I went with the Creative, I think it was X-Fi back then. Right. And they have a different sound field, though they use a different soundtrack. Right. But even then you could hear flies buzzing and stuff like that you couldn't hear before. And, well, yeah, I understand that, it's more kill ratio for the serious gamer that will be shelling out for these. Right. But still, just the immersive sound and the realism involved. If there's a pile of dung, there's going to be flies buzzing around it. So, right on.
I've done demos with guys who are like ranked Halo players that were used to playing with surround sound room system. Right. And I went and did a demo in their home with the 6.1 system. They put the headphones on, and they played, and when they took the headphones off, they had 2 comments. One was, they said, how come I hear more with your headphones than with my really nice home system? Mm-hmm. And the laughable part was, they took the headphones off, and they said, there's only one problem. I like the headphones, but the problem is that they're too hot. And the laughable part was, they didn't even have these ear cuffs on them. There was an old prototype. Right. And they were totally open air. And he wasn't getting too hot because they were too hot. He was getting hotter because of the sweat and the adrenaline. Mm-hmm. He was actually experiencing and getting more into the game than he'd ever been before. I mean, he was waving his hands around in his description. He said, I felt the rocket go like right here and just miss me. And that experience you wouldn't get with, you have to have the right audio system to get that experience. Right. Well, very good. Well, we'll be back in just a minute with more talking with Psyko Audio.